What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Today, we have some more updates regarding the Mercado situation, and some pieces are starting to become more clear about how Juventus will go about picking who they may like in the Mercado in the coming summer. We'll talk about it all in today's show. Stick with us. We'll fill you in. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri. My name is Justin Sofro. Today it's Friday, April 29th, 2022, and we got your latest rundown of all things Juventus, all the news that you care about each and every day. Before we do anything though, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all our latest videos. As I've been trying to say each video, it really does help if you hit the like button. It really does make a difference for our channel as we continue to hopefully grow and hopefully grow our community. If you guys are all, each and every one of you that newly subscribes and all that and likes the videos is a part of that. All right, let's just jump into it. We got a lot of news to get through today, so we're going to do it now. First up, Raspadori is the name of the special. Obviously, when we know one thing when it comes to Juventus, Raspadori is one of their top targets there that they're going to be going after in the summer. Carnevale spoke with Repubblica, talking about his situation. Are there negotiations going on currently? Well, he says, Raspadori, negotiations, if there are any, will be started at the end of the season, as happened last year with Locatelli. Although I hope they'll be less long and nerve-wracking. However, relations with Juventus have always been good. Yeah, I think a lot of us can agree with Carnevale's sentiments that should the situation pan out, once again, Juventus going after Raspadori like they did Locatelli. Hopefully it will not take an entire summer Mercado, literally a whole month of just nonsense back and forth. We were exhausted. If you were here on the channel almost a year ago now when we were doing this, it was literally draining trying to be like, are they going to go after Locatelli or not? There's a part of me that was going to get out there and yell and scream, and it might happen this year. We'll see what happens. All right, let's continue on, though. Talk about another Italian talent that Juventus maybe are setting their sights on. It looks like Corriere dello Sport is reporting that Juventus are following with interest the growth of Udogie, who has stood out not only for his defensive skills, but also for his goal-scoring ability, which has led him to scoring 4 times this season. Obviously, there's the big, it's the elephant in the room, right? This Juventus are very, they can be swayed easily by adding the Italian talents. And Udogie is an Italian, he plays for the U21, I believe, right now, for Italy, and he could be a Azzurri player down the line. We'll see how it pans out, but he's an Italian player. Juventus love Italian players, but he's also a pretty solid player, too. I know Alejandro, other people on our channel have spoke highly of him. They like what he brings to the table. He could be Juventus' option at left back. Let me know your thoughts. Obviously, we talk about left back. We've been talking about it for, it feels like years. We've only been having a channel for a year. But people have been talking about from last Mercado to this one that they want a left back. Would he be a satisfying option for you? Continuing on, though, we're talking about another player that Juventus could be going after, a youth player. Looks like, or when I say youth, a younger option player, at least. Sport World, spelled World, anyway, whatever. The source is the source. Anyway, is reporting that Juventus are among the clubs showing interest in signing Belgian center back Udogie Theate. Is it Theate? He is 21 years old from Bologna. The player is valued about 15 to 20 million euros. So that's an option for the center back. We've talked about, obviously, from Rudiger, who is now going to Real Madrid for all intents and purposes, to Bremer, to all the other players. That's one of the options for center back. We'll see what Juventus, if they end up pursuing this one more deeply in the coming days. But talking about Bremer, we're back with that. Repubblica saying that Torino want no less than 35 million euros to sell Bremer. Juventus remain interested. So it does not appear that the 35 million euro fee potentially for Bremer is going to put Juventus off at all right now. Hopefully Juventus will go after him because I think he's a solid player, a solid center back option. But you got a lot of ground to make up when it comes to Inter, as well as how are you going to appease Cairo to end up making him actually want to deal with Juventus and send the player that way. A lot of work to do. Now we talk about the midfield option of what Juventus could be going for. Tutto Sport is trying to clarify the picture when it comes to Juventus and their Mercado strategy, especially if there's one thing we know, it's the midfield options and what they're going at there. They're reporting saying that Arthur in January was close to Arsenal, and his future remains in the balance. If he leaves, one of Paredes and Jorginho could arrive. If he stays, a midfielder who scores goals is the target. The names are Milinkovic-Savic and Pogba. So this seems to clarify it a little bit. We'll see if this actually ends up being what it really is, the strategy when it comes to Juventus, because it seems like all those could be the options. But it's like, if you're telling me that Arthur leaving means that means you're basically saying Arthur's gone, that means it basically opens the doorway for Jorginho. Paredes, fine. I mean, I don't know. Paredes doesn't really do anything for me. You let me know if you like the player down in the comment section. But me, it's between the names Milinkovic-Savic, Pogba, and Jorginho. Jorginho seems like a financially safer option. He's an Italian talent, and of course that, Juventus are going to like that. And then, of course, everybody, Milinkovic-Savic and Pogba are up there for almost everybody. That's just something to watch. I guess there's not really a lot I can say on that, because it's basically, we'll find out if this hypothesis is true. If Arthur leaves and then you see Jorginho's name start to build, then I guess it was true. If not, we'll see if maybe Milinkovic-Savic and Pogba. Though, in recent days, it seemed like Milinkovic-Savic, the idea of him, it grew, and now it's going down a little bit just because the amount of money and the literal war when it comes to a bidding war for Juventus, for PSG. I couldn't remember my hated enemy PSG, and then as well as Manchester United, whatever, whoever's going to get involved when it comes to Milinkovic-Savic. It's going to be a difficult one. It's an uphill battle for Juventus. We'll see if maybe Pogba ends up becoming the most likely option there. Talking about other options in the midfield, though, is another one that just won't seem to go away, and that seems to be Marcelo Chirico. Not him not going away, but his reports not going away. He's dying on this hill, and he reports that in the upcoming summer market, Juventus will try again for Frankie de Jong. The midfielders among Allegri's preferred options. Great player, great option. It seemed like that addition of Zakaria would have maybe cooled this one and maybe would have canceled him out and said, no, we're not really going after Frankie de Jong because you got Zakaria. Now it looks like, well, it doesn't look like, it looks like Marcelo Chirico is out there, however you say it, he's fighting this battle. He's the only one that's still saying this. I don't know how much I put stock into it or believe it. Actually, I'll tell you, I don't put a lot of stock into it. I don't really believe it. I don't think Frankie de Jong will be an option in the summer. But maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll be proven wrong here, and Marcelo will be the guy who ends up being correct in the end. Let's continue on. Talk about young players that Juventus are looking at. Well, it looks like Gazzetta dello Sport's reporting that Cagliari are interested in, obviously, Dragustin, with Juve aiming to try to develop the negotiation to try to bring home Bellanova to Juventus. The young right back the club is now following for a while. So maybe there could be some kind of deal there between the two players. We've talked about Bellanova in the past on the channel. We'll see if that ends up being something that comes to fruition. Or if maybe Juventus maybe refocus back on Dragustin and his future with the club. Speaking of players that do not have a future with the club, though, would be that of Demiral, who now it looks like is set to permanently leave Juventus. Right now he's been on loan at Atalanta, but Tutto Mercado Web reporting that Atalanta will certainly buy Mehdi Demiral, who will pay 28 million euros plus bonuses to Juventus on top of the €3 that they paid last summer for the loan. So overall 31 million euros. Sends Demiral away from the club. I know there's some people who really were invested in him as a player, really hoping to see him come back to Juventus, or really just to be an important piece, especially given the current situation at center back with all the injuries that continue to pile up every year, with Chiellini probably on his way out, with Bonucci getting older. I think a lot of people probably could have been interested in him. The problem with Demiral, obviously, is just he's just such a, I don't know if I want to say a firecracker or like a loose cannon when it comes to his his defensive strategy. He's always, you're going to get like a yellow card like every other match at least. And it's just, to me, it's hard to, especially if you're going to have a player that's sitting out in that situation. I don't know. I just don't see it panning out long term. I know there are other people that disagree with me, though, personally on him. Let's continue on. Talk about other defenders and their renewals or their situation status with Juventus. Calcio Mercato Web's reporting that De Sciglio is ready to extend his contract with Juventus for another 3 seasons, moving the expiry date to June 30th, 2025. Sorry, I'm American. We do it a different day. We do month, day, year. We don't do day, month, year. you got to deal with it. I'm sorry. Anyway, also accepting the salary parameters imposed by the new course of Juventus. Goodbye to a salary of 2.7 million euros net per year. We start with a salary of about 1.5 million, including bonuses. So that's a good deal for Juventus. It seems that De Sciglio at this moment, maybe in his career, just kind of sits back and realizes, hey, I don't have a lot of options. I don't have a lot of places. Would I rather stay at Juventus with Allegri and what he does? Yeah, and then I can also make still a good wage compared to almost any career you can do, making a great wage for what he's worth, and then it's a win-win for both sides. Juventus spending less money. De Sciglio continues to have a career in football, so good for him. All right, now we have, I don't want to say, yeah, it's kind of, at this point, the first part's not a controversial topic, but the second part definitely will be, or maybe it won't be, maybe it'll surprise me, but we'll see. First up, we were talking about Chiesa and the situation with him. Gazzetta dello Sport are reporting that Juventus' first purchase of the coming summer will be that of Federico Chiesa, a redemption at 40 million euros after a 2-year loan at 3 plus 7, so 10, plus another 10 million in bonuses, so... In the end, I mean, we knew that this payment was coming. Juventus were going to pay out Fiorentina for that of Federico Chiesa. Good. He's a great piece for the club. Hopefully, he can heal, recover, and be back at it in a good situation moving forward. I know people yell and scream about the idea of bringing Big Z Zaniolo to Juventus and about injuries or whatever. Hopefully, Chiesa doesn't have a continuing, I couldn't get it out right, a continuing injury issue, especially given what we've seen in the past from, Dybala, etc. But then going off of that will be the one that I think is going to be kind of controversial, and it's Gazzetta dello Sport's reporting saying that Juventus are thinking about handing Federico Chiesa the number 10 jersey. This one's a difficult one for me. Love Federico Chiesa. Love what he does at the club. This is what I feel like we could probably get a good debate show out of, probably. This question in general. I don't know. I say that and then I think everybody else we all end up kind of having the same mindset. But when it comes to Federico Chiesa, love the player. When it comes to when he's healthy and when he's out there and he's playing, he plays with the most grinta, energy, whatever, hustle, whatever you want to call it. He lays it all out there. He gives you 110%. My problem with this is I feel like the number 10, especially given the recent situation with Paulo Dybala, his departure from the club, him leaving, him leaving, obviously Juventus sending him out, really, not him leaving, wanting to leave. But he was given that number 10 as basically, the heir to Del Piero. It was kind of expected that he would be that player. And that's a lot of pressure, and that's a lot of it's a lot of honor as well for somebody to receive. When I say early into their career, earlier into their career. I think Federico Chiesa is a fantastic player. He's one of my favorite players for Juventus. He probably will be, maybe he will go down as one of my favorite players of all time. But I think maybe if you're Juventus, you got to think about this from a different... I almost view it as like the number 10 needs to be like voted on and like granted by the club. And I don't think it needs to be a jersey or a shirt that is worn every single year. I don't think you have to have somebody wearing the number 10 now. I think it needs to be something of like, we have the player worthy of this number, right? So I think if I were Juventus at this time, I would hold off on it. I would wait. I'd see what happens with Chiesa. I'd see if he comes back from injury. I'd see how he looks in the beginning of the season. I'm not trying to be overly critical of I was about to say Paulo Dybala, of Federico Chiesa. But one of the things I will say about Federico Chiesa is this season, last season he was phenomenal. He came out firing on all cylinders. He was fantastic. Second leading goal scorer behind Ronaldo, doing some special things out there. He's battled injury throughout the season, but also and this could be a tactical thing. This could have been obviously a new coach coming in and not being able to work in the parameters of which he is comfortable in. But I part of me feels like Federico Chiesa didn't look like the same Federico Chiesa that I expected him to be going into year 2. at Juventus. And I'm not trying to be overly harsh with this, but I feel like Juventus maybe would be better off holding out, waiting to see how this upcoming season goes, and then maybe let him play through his third season, third season at Juventus. Let it play out, see how he performs, see if he is that level, see if he gets back to that level before handing him this massive this shirt. I joked on the channel before about Big Z or whatever. If he came, would he be number 10? It was a joke. It wasn't serious. I think this is a shirt that definitely, there are other schools, or not schools, programs, clubs, whatever you want to call them, that have special numbers that mean a lot to them, and that they're really, a lot of times you retire them, certain numbers. Obviously in football, it's a little bit different, a little harder to do. But I feel like I think it would be a cool thing just to keep it and make it an honor thing, but make it where it has to be earned. And like Chiesa, I need another year or two. To me, I think I need just give. I'll set it a little bit lower. Give me 1 full year this season, a really good performance from Federico Chiesa, and then I'll be able to say more if I think it's a good idea to give it to him. If it's a thing where anybody can claim the number, then yeah, I think he's probably the most deserving one. But I think personally, it's a situation where you should earn it, and it has to be voted on, and it should be the honor that it is. The Del Piero 10, it's an honor. It should be an honor, and it should be approached that way. Let me know your thoughts. Do you disagree with me when it comes to Federico Chiesa? Should he get the 10 now, or do you think maybe it's something that should be held off on, and it should be earned? Earned, not given. I hate that phrase. This is a joke, but you know what I mean. Let me know in the comment section down below. All right, and then we wrap it up with some comments by Rabiot. I'm sure everybody's favorite player, talking about, the season, the different things that could have happened. I'll go and read it now. He spoke with Days in Italia, in which he said, if we had beaten Inter, it would have changed everything. Mentally, it would have changed our approach to the championship and other teams' approach to us. Milan and Inter would have had more pressure. It's not easy to play with the pressure of Juve behind you. I do agree with him there, but I mean, of course, he was a big part in not succeeding there. He's not a big part, but he was part of the issue, as well as injuries, whatever, all that. The Coppa Italia is a game I'm particularly looking forward to because the league match disappointed me and made me nervous. The same goes for the Super Cup. We deserve more in both games. We have revenge to take against Inter. So I'm glad he has at least some passion there, and he's built up and he's ready to go out there. Because he's going to be starting. Rabiot's going to be starting. But I'm glad to see at least he has some kind of some emotion there behind it and wanting to get this victory and not just going out there and play and make your paycheck. He goes on to say the performance against Inter or the most recent ones were of a high level. I have to repeat them every weekend, and that's the hardest thing. Yeah, obviously, my thoughts and my opinions. I think Inter, that entire match was a farce. I think the calls that were made, the non-calls for Juventus, you got to call it both ways, and I just think Inter were gifted that victory, and it was ridiculous. He goes on to say, when I was younger, I played further forward like a 10. Now I like to start further away. I prefer to have space in front of me. Those who think I'm an offensive player don't have the right perception of me. I'm a number 6 or 8, not a 10. I mean, that's definitely true. I mean, I don't know how you think he's an offensive player. To me, I've always viewed him as more defensive, especially here this season. He's done a lot more defensively. And also, he's not scoring. He still hasn't had that big banger score that I expected of Rabiot. You get it once a season. Anyway, Allegri has a passion for his work. He wants to win, but also to improve the players. I myself have improved with him. He pushes me. It's important to have a coach who gives you challenges. So, obviously, the father-son role is definitely what Allegri and Rabiot, I think that they view each other as, and that's one reason why you see him sticking around, and probably sticking around through the Mercado and hope that he'd be sent off, me personally. But I also get when you have a depleted midfield, even with the pieces you're going to buy, that maybe you can keep him as a secondary option. But I'd be worried that Allegri will continue not to use him as a secondary option, but as as the first option there, and always starting him over some of the better talent that he may end up getting in this Mercado. That'll do it for today's show. That's all the news that we really have for you. Let us know your thoughts on all the topics we talked about, the Chiesa number situation. Let me know. I'm really intrigued to hear what Juventus fans think about that. If you think similar to me, or if you think differently when it comes to giving him that prestigious shirt as well. Anyway, if you haven't already, please hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all the latest videos. Make sure you follow Bianconerizone at Bianconerizone, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you haven't already, follow me at Justin Sofro on Twitter as well. I'll see you guys next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.